Lake Shasta sits quietly in Northern California, but its waters are telling a bigger story. For the third year in a row, the state's largest reservoir has surged to near full levels, drawing urgent attention far beyond its shores.
Is near its capacity for the second straight year. Shasta Lake rose more than a foot since last week thanks to heavy rain over the weekend. The lake is now just 7 feet from its max capacity. This marks the first time in about 10 years that Shasta Lake has been nearly full.
Lake Shasta, California's largest reservoir, dominates the landscape and anchors the imagination of millions. This week, its waters pushed to the very brim, marking the third consecutive year of near or absolute fullness, a feat that resonates far beyond local headlines. Just months ago, satellite images revealed a drained, cracked basin, a vessel sitting at a mere 31% capacity. By this May, the same vast expanse swelled close to 100%, a transformation so pronounced it can be pinpointed in the gradients of blues from space. California's climate, infamous for its flux between parched extremes and sudden abundance, has brought the state's largest reservoir from the cusp of drought to a stage where water nudges at the dam's edge with persistent intent. Yet, as Lake Shasta once again fills, or nearly fills, topping out at about 4,552,000 acre-feet, questions echo across California. How does a reservoir once threatened by drought rise an astonishing 56.6 feet within months? What combination of hydrological forces, atmospheric moods, and operational decisions converged to produce this meteoric rebound, not as a singular event, but as a repeating phenomenon? And does this pattern signal resilience, or merely set the stage for a new era of precarious balance in California's water future? The answers, layered in science and circumstance, unwind not in isolation, but through the intricate interplay between weather, watershed, policy, and collective memory. From the lakeside to the governor's desk, from the lifeblood of farmers in the Central Valley to urban planners in distant cities, Lake Shasta's dramatic resurgence invites us to look beyond the shoreline. What secrets lie beneath the surface of a reservoir that continues to defy cycles of feast and famine? Chapter 1. Shasta Lake's hydrological story. Lake Shasta is not merely a reservoir. It is an engineered landscape, a confluence point for countless decisions and geological eras collapsed into a single, shimmering surface. With a maximum capacity exceeding 4,552,000 acre-feet, more than 5.6 billion cubic meters, it stands as the largest single reservoir in California's intricate water management framework. California's water system depends on reservoirs like this to capture every volatile surge, buffer the impacts of drought, and ensure that scarcity is held at bay, if only for a fleeting moment. Shasta Lake's vastness stretches out beneath the surrounding hills, its fingers reaching into green valleys, steep canyons, and densely wooded slopes. Its role extends beyond the mere storage of water. It mitigates floods that threaten downstream communities, sustains the flow that irrigates fields and household taps hundreds of miles away, and underpins the complex allocation that supports cities, agriculture, and endangered ecosystems. But what does it truly mean when this gigantic reservoir fills, not just once, but for 3 years running? Is this the inheritance of a wet period, or does it signal a fundamental shift in California's hydrological fortunes? Scientists and water managers know well that California's history is marked by stark swings in precipitation. Seemingly wet periods can quickly snap back to drought. Yet the recent run of near fullness, following on the heels of deep drought, paints a vivid picture of volatility that defines the state's relationship with water. Chapter 2. Feast after famine. Rainfall's surprising comeback. The story of Shasta Lake's meteoric rise begins far above the waterline, in the snow-packed mountain slopes and stormy skies. Just months ago, last November, Lake Shasta languished at a stark 31% of its formidable capacity, its shoreline marked by the white scars of drought. Then came the rains. Through winter and into spring, storm system after storm system swept across Northern California, pounding the Shasta watershed, with precipitation totals that outstripped seasonal expectations. Each front layered moisture into soils already primed by earlier, modest rains. Torrents sluiced through tributaries, funneled down ravines, and amassed in the feeder streams that converge on the reservoir. This was no slow, incremental recovery. Water surged into Shasta's basin at a remarkable pace, compressing months of expected gains into mere weeks. Satellite imagery captured in May tells the story in vibrant shades. Bare, creased earth replaced by deep, reflective blue. This pattern is consistent with the regional impact of atmospheric rivers, vast corridors of moisture that can drench California with several inches of rain in days. But was this deluge simply the caprice of good fortune, or did Shasta's rebound draw on more than rainfall alone? The synchronized timing of saturated ground, rapid snowmelt, and robust storms amplified every drop, making for a refill that seemed at points to defy normal expectations. Chapter 3. Expert Insight. Brandon Rutherford weighs in. When rapid changes outpace normal expectations, the need for clarity and expert insight becomes urgent. Brandon Rutherford, a hydrologist with years of experience observing California's evolving water patterns, puts it succinctly. It's tempting to look at a full reservoir and see simple cause and effect, but what's playing out at Shasta is a convergence of timing and sequence. Rain falling on already saturated ground, snowmelt merging with storm runoff, and decisions made to hold or release water tied directly to what happens downstream. Rutherford emphasizes that hydrology is as much about timing as totals. When a series of powerful storms follow each other in close succession, soils quickly lose their absorbing power. Instead of acting as sponges, they become highways, routing every drop efficiently toward the lake. He notes that this isn't simply a matter of volume, but velocity. The speed at which water is delivered to the basin intensifies both opportunity and risk. The rapid, almost vertical rise in the reservoir's elevation is the sum of antecedent rainfall, snowmelt, and relentless sequences of storms, all amplifying each other's effects. What happens when this crescendo meets the engineered expectations and constraints of water management infrastructure? Chapter 4. Watershed Dynamics. From Runoff to Reservoir. Behind every vertical foot of water in Lake Shasta is a drama unfolding across thousands of square miles. The Sacramento River Basin, the source of Shasta's inflows. The reservoir's drainage basin scours the flanks of distant ridges, funnels rain and snowmelt from elevations ranging from low foothills to the snowy heights of the Cascades. Each tributary, seasonal creeks, gushing rivers, hidden springs, feeds the lake with a speed and efficiency that intensifies after repeated storms. When soils are saturated, as during this past winter and spring, rainfall transforms almost instantly into runoff, racing down steep drainages and into the reservoir. Instead of a slow, measured trickle, Shasta received torrents, tens of thousands of cubic feet per second at times, resulting in a water level graph that arcs upward almost as steeply as the surrounding hills. This orchestrated surge does not move in isolation. Each rising tributary amplifies the impact of every rainfall event, transforming routine storms into monumental hydrological moments. The faster the water moves across the landscape, the more rapidly the reservoir swells, and the narrower the margin becomes for intervention. Why does this surge press so urgently on the reservoir's capacity in wet years? And what does it mean for water management now that many dry cycles are being punctuated by sudden, record-breaking series of storms. Chapter 5. 3 years full. A pattern or anomaly? California's largest reservoir now stands at or near capacity for a third consecutive year, a pattern of abundance that stands out against a backdrop of prior depletion. Lake Shasta's recent history alternates between lengthy, worrisome droughts and sudden, bountiful years, with little in between. For operators, each year of surplus builds both buffer and uncertainty into the system. When a reservoir fills once, it's often seen as a welcome result of a single wet year. When it fills 2 or 3 years in a row, managers and scientists are compelled to look for patterns, or warnings. These consecutive years of fullness mean storm seasons are arriving atop an already robust store of water, which flips the risk calculation. With each recharge, the margin for additional inflow shrinks. Sudden decisions must be made about whether to retain or release, and miscalculation can have consequences far downstream. State officials have confirmed that while Shasta is very close to full, there is still plenty of room to fill. Yet everyone familiar with California's water knows that the line between security and concern can be crossed quickly and unpredictably, especially after a string of wet years. Does this string of full or nearly full seasons signal a change in California's climate patterns, a new normal of periodic extreme fullness, or is it merely a statistical blip in a system known for its volatility? Chapter 6. Science Unveiled. Dr. Evelyn Roberts' analysis. Dr. Evelyn Roberts, a geologist specializing in watershed systems, describes Shasta's rapid rise as a perfect storm of preconditions aligning at the right time. She points first to the compounding effect of antecedent saturation. When soil moisture is already at its threshold, any additional input is delivered with startling efficiency to the reservoir. Roberts' research compares recent years to past eras of abundant rainfall and documents how sequences of wet months, especially following drought, can produce outsized reservoir responses. She notes an increasing volatility in California's precipitation. We're not just experiencing more rainfall, but a stacking of conditions that make each event more potent. In the past, a season's rainfall might be absorbed or delayed, but now it's stacking, layer by layer, until the system responds all at once. The implication for managers is that each successive wet season doesn't just fill reservoirs, it primes the entire watershed for swift transformation, meaning operational tactics must evolve. Dr. Roberts emphasizes that every decision about water storage and release now takes on heightened importance when fullness is no longer a rare event, but a repeating one. Chapter 7. Flood Control versus Storage Dilemma. Lake Shasta's dual identity, as both a bulwark against floods and a bank vault for dry season water, lies at the root of its operational tension. When atmospheric rivers press in from the Pacific, water managers must anticipate not simply the immediate inflow, but a season's worth of variability, compressed into weeks. Prematurely releasing water ahead of an incoming storm offers downstream protection, but at the risk of reducing supplies needed for the inevitable dry months. Holding too much water, on the other hand, can push the reservoir to its physical limits and narrow the window for making safe, strategic releases if another large storm arrives. This year, as in the past 2 wet cycles, managers have had to modulate releases and intake in real time. Decisions made on a humid night in February can echo throughout the state in July, when urban and agricultural demands peak. The risk is ever present. Release too much, and drought risk rises. Release too little, and downstream communities may face flood risk. This balancing act is the heart of modern reservoir management, and in years of abundance, the pressure only intensify. Chapter 8. The role of forecasting under pressure. Within this delicate balance, forecasting becomes both a shield and a source of perpetual anxiety. Reservoir managers lean on meteorological models that digest a constant flow of data on precipitation, wind, temperature, and snow levels, hoping to conjure a reliable near future amid deep uncertainty. Yet even with advanced tools, the models are only as good as the unpredictable storms thrown their way. This season, the relentless rhythm of rainfall overwhelmed forecasters' ability to pinpoint how much and when the next pulse would hit. Each spike in inflow demanded urgent recalibration, with officials weighing real-time data, the shadow of past droughts, and memories of spillway failures or emergency evacuations from previous decades. Public scrutiny quickly follows every managerial move. As Shasta's waterline climbed, so did anxieties in town halls and newsrooms statewide. These mounting levels do not always translate into risk, but they do complicate the conversation around how California adapts to the cycles of water scarcity and excess, a reality that forecasts alone cannot solve. Chapter 9. Specialist View. Dr. Maya Hernandez on Public Perception. Dr. Maya Hernandez, an environmental communications specialist, has spent years studying the intersection of operational reality and public perception. Numbers alone don't tell the whole story, she notes. A reservoir gaining 56.6 feet, over 17 meters, captures public imagination, but rarely comes bundled with context. She points out how visual evidence, full pools, rising spillways, satellite images of swelling blue, stirs the public's worry far more than drier, technical analyses. Official statements may downplay risk, emphasizing Shasta can still safely hold more water. But for many, the memory of previous crises or the striking image of a quickly rising lake is enough to provoke unease. The communication challenge is to bridge the reality of technical safety and operational control with the visceral response many Californians have to water levels, whether high or low. Hernandez urges expanded public education and clearer official explanations. Trust is earned not just with statistics, but with clear, timely, and transparent communication, especially when every year seems to rewrite the rulebook on what is normal. Chapter 10. Record Pace. Anatomy of the 56.6-foot surge. Lake Shasta's 56.6-foot rise from last fall to this spring is both a simple arithmetic sum and a remarkable feat of nature and circumstance. With the reservoir at only about 31% of capacity in November, each successive storm and each melt of accumulated mountain snow added to the swelling surface. The inflow spikes dwarf routine increments seen in moderately wet years. For the professionals tracking every vertical shift, this presented both a victory and a responsibility. Lake Shasta's infrastructure, including the dam, gates, emergency spillways, and monitoring systems, remained safely within their design thresholds. Still, the speed and scale of the ascent meant operational timelines for releases and buffering were compressed, with officials making key judgments on storage and safety with little time to spare. The reality is that urgency in filling is not by itself a sign of crisis. Rather, Shasta's quick rebound provides powerful reinforcement that weather-driven extremes, not tidy averages, are shaping California's future. Chapter 11. Interconnected Impacts. Statewide Ripples. The water captured by Shasta's vast basin is not destined to linger quietly within the canyons of Northern California. Rather, it serves as the hub of a complex network. Its waters irrigate the fertile fields of the Central Valley, sustain river flows for fish and wildlife, and supply drinking water to millions, mostly through the Central Valley Project. Every extra foot of water stored or released here can have impacts hundreds of miles away, affecting community water supplies, endangered salmon runs, and the delicate balance of riverine ecosystems. When Shasta is full, the pressure on other reservoirs is diminished, at least temporarily. But abundance in one area should not breed complacency across the state. The risks of drought never fade. California's climate is cyclical, and years of plenty can give way with startling speed to scarcity.
Thus, the ripples of Shasta's ascent reach far and wide, influencing not only physical flow, but the carefully negotiated politics of water, allocation, and conservation. Chapter 12. Memory and Infrastructure. Lessons Unveiled. If recent years have driven anything home, it's that California's water reality is one of extremes. Less than 2 years ago, as Lake Shasta and others neared record lows, water agencies scrambled to impose restrictions and contingency plans. Fields went unplanted, wildlife suffered, and entire communities braced for the worst. This year stands in bold contrast, yet neither phase is permanent. The infrastructure that underpins Shasta Lake has proved resilient, but faces growing stress from weather swings that now seem to define the modern climate era. Each episode, whether of drought or abundance, prompts a reassessment. Are resource allocation and release strategies sufficiently flexible? Are maintenance and structural investments aligned with weather now prone to violent swings? Is the communication with the public adapting at the same pace as the system itself? Resilience, in this context, becomes not just a measure of infrastructure, but a test of adaptability, cooperation, and foresight. Chapter 13. Satellite Evidence, Seeing Change from Afar. Some of the most striking evidence of California's water volatility comes not in reports, but in the before and after sequences of satellite photography. In November, the pale bands of exposed sediment and slumping shoreline around Lake Shasta told a tale of exhaustion and thirst. Just 6 months later, the same images replace patches of tan and gray with a continuous expanse of rippling blue, a signal of recovery that's as visually compelling as it is real. These images act as impartial witnesses, capturing both the highs and lows, serving as reminders that today's fullness can just as easily become tomorrow's deficit. They are a visual record as much as a scientific one, mapping out the new normal that may be settling over the state. What will these images show in 5, 10, or 20 years if California's pattern of weather whiplash continues? Will Lake Shasta's fullness become predictable, or will wild swings define the water story for another generation? Chapter 14. The Margin Narrows, Vigilance in Abundance. Drought has taught California to squeeze every drop from scarcity, but abundance demands equal vigilance. For every vertical foot of water stored, operational flexibility diminishes. Each rise in elevation means less time to respond should another atmospheric river barrel through the north. And, as history has shown, what's full can overflow. Shasta's rebound should be read as both a victory for nature's delivery and as a challenge for those responsible for the state's water. No rule book written in gentler times can capture the pace of change or narrowing margin for error that now defines reservoir management in California. The choreography of water in the 2020s demands constant attention, a readiness to adjust, and a commitment to communicating risk and reality to an engaged public. Will we manage the complexity, or will it manage us? The answer rests in the constant recalibration of storage, release, and resilience. Chapter 15. Fullness and Fragility, the New Reality. Lake Shasta's journey from the brink of drought to 3 years of impressive recovery reveals a system both strong and exposed. Each year of fullness delivers measurable relief, but also sharpens the logistical challenge of protecting both water supply
and public safety. The 56.6-foot surge is not just a statistic, but a testament to the volatility and interconnectedness of California's water story. Across state agencies, farmers recalibrate irrigation, urban officials rethink emergency planning, and water agencies refine models and protocols. If these past years teach anything, it's that abundance and scarcity may arrive with little notice, and both must be managed with equal seriousness and sophistication. As new seasons approach and the horizon fills once again with uncertainty, the true lesson of Shasta Lake's dramatic ascent is clear. Vigilance and adaptability will be as precious as water itself. The system's health will not be measured simply by volume, but by the skill with which Californians navigate whatever comes next. If you found this exploration into California's evolving water cycle illuminating, consider supporting the channel. Like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth perspectives on the turning points shaping our infrastructure and communities. Your engagement keeps this vital conversation flowing, ensuring that every choice at the water's edge ripples outward, shaping our future for years to come.